Hi everyone. My name is James Annan. A second year master student. I'm pursuing educational leadership, and I am happy to reach you once again to present to you my process topic. So this will be a build up on my previous lesson I treated, and the lesson was water cycle. And so water cycle happens to be our RPK. And so it is really guiding us to the next topic we're talking about. And um, a brief introduction on today's topic is first of all, we see water or we see puddles, and then all of a sudden it dries up. Secondly, we leave wet towels and it dries up. Sometimes we hit the gym and our bodies dry up with sweat and all of that. So, having said all of these, means that today we are talking about evaporation. We are talking about evaporation today. So, evaporation is a process when a liquid like water changes into a gas, um, and so in a form of water vapor. So there are things that really go into evaporation. So the first thing is the invisible change, which means that it is something we can't see, um, the water vapor, because it's a gas. We can actually see the water vapor because it's a gas. And two, heat is key in evaporation. So these factors are so important in evaporation. We have to bear in mind that first of all, it is invisible change. We can't see it. And two, it is a heat is key in evaporation. Three, everywhere around us, it happens. So including, like I said, the puddles, the lakes, oceans, and our body. So that's it. Now, factors that affect evaporation. What factors take into account, or what factors affect evaporation? So, evaporation doesn't always happen at the same speed. We have to bear this in mind that evaporation, it doesn't happen at the same speed. Certain things make it faster or slower. So these things makes it faster or slower. First, heat. The heat will determine how fast evaporation will take place, the process of evaporation. And so more heat means faster evaporation. And so we got to think about how a wet towel dries quicker on a hot day. That means that the higher the heat, the quicker the evaporation. The second aspect, or the factor that affects evaporation, is wind. And wind carries away the water vapor, making room for more to escape. And the next is a large surface area, which allows more water to evaporate. So a puddle will dry faster than a deep lake. So when we are observing evaporation, there are things we have to take into consideration. And the first thing is the place and the observation. So we have puddles after rain. So that is a place, the puddle after rain. And the observation, what are we observing? Water slowly disappears over time. So sometimes we are like, oh, this river or this water has really gone down, especially during the season of the summer season. And another thing is wet cloth on clothesline. This one really reminds me of my background, my Ghanaian background. We dry things on a dry line outside of our homes, in comparison to the American style. So mostly we wash and we dry them outside of the rooms. So we have dry lines being placed outside and we dry them on with pegs. And with time, the wet cloth dries up. So it becomes dry as the water evaporates from the cloth. And a glass of water left out. So the water level gradually decreases, and that means that evaporation is taking place. So we're going to do experiments to better give us, understanding of what we are talking about, the process of evaporation. And these are the items that we will need for our experiment. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to do this kind of experiment. And so we can actually see the observation in action by heating water. And then the first thing we will need, there are 3 steps to follow. The first thing we will need is a beaker, like to fill a beaker with water. And the second thing is to place the beaker on a hot plate. And the last thing is to observe the change. You got to observe the change. And but with time, I think I will do this. And so this will be my so this will be my hot surface. This will be my hot surface, and it means that it will actually produce the heat, and that will make it as it produces the heat. This will be my jar. I'm sorry, I couldn't have a transparent jar, so I'm using a mag. And of course, I believe we can see what I'm trying to show us. So this is the hot surface. So a beaker with water, I'm using this mag for my beaker, and there's water right in there. So as this hot surface keeps heating up, we observe the change that the water in the mag, it will start escaping. So we see it in the form of vapor, and we can see right here that it has started escaping, and we can see the vapor, the water vapor coming out of it right away. Yeah, good, good. So the more we do this, or we keep the mag on it, and as it heats, the more the water turns into vapor, and this is the process of evaporation. So I believe this kind of process is very helpful. Most of us have fair knowledge about this, but it's a reminder and also a good lesson, and of course an interesting one to abreast ourselves with. Thank you very much for your attention.